We're excited to check out the new movie.
Yeah,
the first one seemed to be lacking a couple things. I think the second one, though, looks better than the first, which doesn't happen a lot in sequels. So what do you think?
I think that the second one is better than the first one. You know, that there were things that the producer, and I wasn't part of the first one. I'm not the sole reason the second one is better. There are a variety of reasons. I'd like to think that I contribute. But, the producers have said on the first one that there were elements of the story and tone that they were still really trying to discover as they were shooting the movie and even in post-production. Whereas I feel like when we did this movie, day one, we hit the ground running. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew what the tone wanted to be. And everyone felt like they were pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems to tug on the nostalgia a little bit, too. Were you a fan of all the...
Oh, yeah, man. I was a fan of, the original live-action films. And
oh, yeah. Except Turtles in Time?
What's that?
Except the third one?
I don't remember the third one now. I remember the first. I remember the first. I remember the first two pretty well. But yeah, I was a big fan. So it was very cool to, you got to lean on that stuff. Like, you got to create a movie that someone, in their 30s can enjoy, and then also someone that's just like, 12 years old, 8 years old, discovering the Turtles for the first time. You want them to be able to enjoy it too.
So I think, seasons 1 and 2 of Arrow were very grounded in reality. Then they brought in kind of the supernatural aspect. Do you think the last couple seasons of Arrow prepared you a little bit for being on screen with imaginary turtles?
Well, yes, but not necessarily because of the style of storytelling. Arrow will always be the most important job that I ever have in my career, even if it's not the biggest job that I ever have in my entire career. For the simple reason that over the past 4 years, I've filmed 92 episodes of television, 8 days an episode, and that's just, 14-hour days. And any way you slice it, that's just a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you get better as an actor. You have no choice. So from that standpoint, I was prepared to come on and do a big movie because of the work that I got to do on Arrow.
Like I said, we're big fans of Arrow. We've talked to Paul, we've talked to Bam Bam, we've talked to Slim J. Do you hope it gets back to that kind of kick-ass type of TV in season 5?
Yeah. I mean, we've had to do a lot of work on behalf of other properties over the past couple of years,
right,
and have had to introduce elements that weren't the core driving forces of the show when it was originally conceived. Mm-hmm. Obviously a show has to evolve, but we're doing some things this year that take us back to that level. And I'm a caretaker for Oliver Queen and a custodian for the character for the time being, and I want him to be a badass as much as anyone else.
One last one. When are we going to see another episode of Dudes Being Dudes in Wine Country?
My buddy Drew and I actually just did a deal with a production company, and we're going to pitch it to some networks, because the logistical elements of putting together an episode on our own were too much for us. So, which is a long way of saying it is going to happen again, but I'd say probably next year.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, man.
Thanks very much.